Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Marine and today I have some woodworking projects for Christmas for you. Hope you like them. I found a piece of thin plywood around the house. I think it's leftover backing from some furniture, and I decided to make Christmas mittens. I'm tracing the template over the plywood and cutting it out along the contour with a jigsaw. Each mitten consists of two parts, the mitten itself and the cuff for it. I'll also embellish the mittens with wooden hearts. Here I have to tinker. It's not so easy to cut out when you have such small pieces of plywood, so the hearts came out a bit crooked. Fortunately for this project, it's quite okay. So, after the details have been cut out, I'm sanding them. There are some chips along the edges, and I'm also rounding all sharp edges and corners so that the mitten is nice and smooth. I'm drilling holes in the upper part of the mitten and in the cuff with a thin drill bit. This is to connect them later. Then I'm painting all the details. I'm making one mitten green and the other one red. As for the cuffs, I'm making a green cuff for the red mitten and the red one for the green mitten. One layer is enough here, and as you can see, I haven't primed. Here slight inaccuracy in painting is quite okay and is even desirable because of the rustic style of this decoration. The decoration will be one-sided, but I'm painting all sides to keep it neat. By the way, if using a jigsaw is not for you, similar plywood mittens are sold ready-made. Well, and of course you can come up with a lot of options. For example, decorate the mittens with decoupage or add a picture or an inscription over them and so on. I've almost forgotten that I needed 2 more holes in the cuffs to hang the mittens. I'm tinting the finished parts with a sponge along the edges with a dark brown paint. Unfortunately, I cannot access the place where the finger is connected to the mitten with the sponge well, so I have to correct the contour using the original color. Similarly, I'm working over the hearts with brown paint. Finally, I've decided to complement the mittens with small wooden snowflakes. I'm painting them white. Now I can assemble the decorations. I'm gluing the hearts and the snowflakes over the mittens. Here I'm using wood glue. And I'm threading a jute twine through the drilled holes and tying large knots on the front side. I'm not gripping the mitten with the cuff, but leaving a short distance between them to make the decoration look more delicate. And I'm making a hanging loop at the top of each cuff. Such hanging decoration can be used to embellish windows, and it is also an excellent and very budget-friendly option for a small Christmas gift. You can write your greetings on this mitten. You can also make a double-sided mitten with a picture on one side and some greetings on the other one. This second project for today is a wooden Christmas tree. I saw a similar one last year in one shop and I had the idea of making a similar one since then. So I'm outlining the template over a piece of plywood. Here I have thicker plywood and cutting it out. Since the Christmas tree has many branches, here I'm cutting the Christmas tree along the contour first, using a coarser blade connecting the ends of the branches. And then I'm changing the blade to a fine one for clean cuts and cutting out all the branches. See how clean the edge is? Of course, I've spent much more time with the fine blade, but all the edges are clean and I've got much fewer chips. The Christmas tree is ready. In addition to it, I've cut out a few more rectangles, a base, a trunk and 2 gifts. Here all sizes are approximate, but I'll add these parts to the template. I'm sanding all the parts. You can do this by hand, but of course the sander speeds up the process. I've decided to make several holes in the tree for hanging some decorations. I'm drilling the tree with the hole saw drill bit of a small diameter. You can also use a flat drill bit to make neater holes. I'm drilling from both sides, halfway on the one side, then I'm turning the tree over and drilling on the other side. This is to get a nice clean edge of the hole from both sides. After this, I'm painting the finished tree. I'm painting the whole tree green on both sides, except for the star at the top. Here I'm using my homemade chalk paint, but you can paint it with acrylic paint as well. I'm painting the trunk and the base in brown. And here I'm painting the trunk on one side, only at the bottom, since I'll glue it to the tree. I'm painting the star of the Christmas tree in yellow. And I'm painting the small rectangles, which will be the gifts under the tree, one in yellow and the other one in red. I've decided to decorate the Christmas tree with wooden snowflakes and jingle bells. I've got jingle bells in gold, but golden bells wouldn't work here since I needed them in more a rustic style, so I'm painting all the smaller bells in red. And I'm painting the snowflakes in bronze. I'm attaching the bells to the Christmas tree using small finishing nails. I'm hammering a nail into the tree and then I'm bending it with pliers, making a hook. And I'm hanging a bell onto this hook. Here I've begun with the most complicated ones, which will hang in the holes. There I have to hammer nails into the edge of the plywood, but if you take a small hammer, everything works out. Here I'm hanging the large bronze jingle bells. And then I'm moving on to the small ones. I have them in 2 sizes and I'm hanging them randomly, some in pairs, some one by one. I'm gluing the snowflakes using wood glue. And I'm also gluing the tree to the base. It's better to clamp them together till they are dry. And the last things left are the gifts. I'm hot gluing a bright ribbon over them crosswise and adding a bow over the top. And I'm attaching the finished wrapped gifts to the tree. Such a Christmas tree is an excellent option for decorating small spaces, in the office, in a kitchen or on a narrow windowsill. It's flat and therefore fits anywhere. You can arrange it to your liking and you can also hang some small Christmas tree decoration in its holes. I'm thinking about making a couple of these in whitewashed wood. I think it will be great. And finally, the biggest project for today is a decorative sled. Here I'm using leftovers and scraps of wood planks. Everything here is very approximate since I'm using what I have. For the seat, I'm cutting out 4 planks about 20 inches in length, and here I'm cutting the bottom edges at different angles, imitating chipped or broken planks. I'm also cutting the planks from the top to get a rounded shape. And I'm making crossbars from a narrow plank. These crossbars will set the height of the sled, so take a thicker plank for them. There will be a curved detail at the top of the sled. I've also drawn it to fit my sled, and I'll leave the link to my template in the description box. I'm making the runners in the same way, just drawing the curving tips to fit the sled size. I'm sanding all the details, and first I'm gluing the seat. I'm placing all the planks to have the same distance between them. For this, I'm inserting a small plank between them when placing and gluing the two crossbars over the seat. I have my runners consisting of several parts, since the length of the plank I had was not enough, so I'm gluing them together and placing another piece of wood over the seam. It will be almost unnoticeable under the seat, but it is better, of course, to make the parts without any seams. After the glue has set well, I'm painting the whole thing. I'm painting in red all the parts of the runners themselves, the decorative detail and the crossbar. And I'm leaving unpainted the areas where I'm going to glue the parts together. I've decided to make the seat look like an aged grey wood. First, I'm staining the seat with a dark brown stain. Any brown stain will do. The main thing is to use water-based, not oil-based stain. After the stain has dried, I'm using white paint, well thinned with water. As you can see, I have a pinkish hue here. This is because I didn't wash the brush well enough before taking white paint. I'm applying this liquid paint over the seat and immediately wiping it off with a cloth. Thus, I'm getting a grayish colored wood, as if it has faded from time. In the meantime, the runner parts have dried well, and I continue working on them. I'm sanding the parts hard enough to sand the paint off the edges and corners down to the wood. I want to get an old sled that has peeled off and darkened from time, so I'm making the scarves quite strong. The assembly is very simple. First, I'm gluing the crossbar between the runners, then I'm gluing the seat onto them, and finally adding a decorative curved part. The seat turned out to be of a very even color, not like the old ones, so I've decided to age it a little using dark wax. I'm waxing along the edges of the seat planks. Now they're looking much more aged, and I'm also waxing the runners a little. Finally, I'm applying colorless wax. To decorate the sled, I'm taking a piece of a Dollar Tree garland. I'm making a bow out of checkered ribbon. A bullet bow would look best here. I think I'll add it later. All that is left is to bend the tip of the garland to make a hook and hang the decoration onto the sled. Therefore, it is easily removable. You can change the arrangement to your liking. I've made this sled as an outdoor decoration and I love the result. And don't forget that I've made them, as you can see, practically out of scraps. I'm going to make a nice entrance zone with it, with some crates and fir branches and a bundle of firewood, as at these nice photos on Pinterest. Let me know what you think of today's projects. Thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!